Oh my God! I just want to talk about something before I go. I'm trying to debate whether I go to. I'm waiting for my get some money soon to go to the African American, the Black Festival, Black Heritage Festival today. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna try to go. I want to go. It's just that my money is low right now, and I'm waiting for my other check, and hopefully get some money soon. But I want to talk about that. I was at work the other day, yesterday or the other day, and I was talking about Pippi Longstocking. I mentioned the other actually one of my favorite films. I mentioned the Sister Act 2 and 1. I mixed. Let me close the comment section before anybody come in. I just don't feel like, you know, chatting with someone right now. But no, let me so make my stance. Okay. So when we were talking about movies, about Sister Act, the Sister Act is Selena was talking, what else? Bruce Abuse Plays. Adventures of Abuse, I mean, the Women of Abuse Place, and all the other movies that I watched. Um, I was going to movies, and I mentioned I did love. I don't know if I mentioned Queen, Halle Berry. Okay, I wanted to mention one movie that I really liked. It has nothing to do with culture or race. All of the cast is Caucasian mostly, but it was a movie that I can relate to as a child. Back in '88, when my cousin was born. Okay, I was 9 years old. I just turned 9 years old. It's actually next year will be 30 years. Okay, um, there was a movie called the New Adventures of Pippi Longstocking, and I didn't get a chance to see the movie at the movie theaters. See the movie at the movie theaters, but I went to the movie. I went. We had Disney Channel in my house, at my grandparents' house. And even prior to me turning to 10 years old, I did not like the way how I was raised. Okay? And and one thing I love about this movie, and I know people will come in here with the Illuminati Disney shit, bashing Disney. Maybe, I'm not gonna talk about way that Walt Disney was racist or not. I'm not talking about that, and I know he was. But I grew up at the time when I know about that, so we're gonna focus on that, okay? But I love the fact that the movies watching the Disney Channel, Mickey Mouse Club, and all the rest of it, watching Nickelodeon as well. Um, and I remember there was a movie being played on Disney Channel, since it was child friendly, kid friendly, called New Adventures of Pippi Longstocking. So in 1989, when I was turning 10, before I went to California with my aunt, my great aunt, excuse me, my grandma's sister and her. And I was telling them about that people was talking how rebellious she was and all that. That was the part. You know I had to go there. I had to go there. Okay, and so in the movie People Don't Stocking, there was a part when they got tired of all these damn rules that they were parents and how they was being. And one thing, when folks, not to be a racist thing, when folks being like whooping and spanking was not in white culture, which is untrue. It was. It started from there. In that movie, she was getting paddled and stuff, and she was resistant to it. Okay. Yes. So watching Pippi Longstocking back in the day, when I saw that, I said, "Oh, I wish I could know Pippi Longstocking." Okay. And one part when they got tired, because remember they was trying to take her to boarding school because she had nobody taking care of her. I was like, damn, she was young and she was a child and she was taking care of herself. Oh, I would love to be in her shoes. Well, in Pippi Longstocking, when they were doing, I guess, like the CPS type people was trying to get her to put in the orphanage, because she was a little boy and a little girl that lived next door. They was brother and sister, and they didn't want Pippi to go, but the parents was calling this town about this little girl, that her father was a sailor, and that the fact that she was taking care of herself and she was she was an adult. I'm like, damn, I wish that was me. And not the cussing, we were talking about a Disney movie. But what happened is she spin because she had this like a magical power about her. And I'm like, damn, I want to do that too. I want to spin to get the hell out of a kid. And one of the favorite songs besides Pippi Longstocking coming to your town. And when you're a child, you're trying to learn that it's fantasy, but you wish it was reality. And when you're 9 and 10 years old, I wish Pippi Longstocking at the time was real, okay? But you're 10 years old, you're still a child, okay? As an adult, I know the difference, okay? It's not true, okay? So Pippi Longstocking, what they did, the man next door had came there and built her a airplane and the helicopter, whatever it was, so she could fly. But she used herself, and she spun. And I remember when I was spinning, so I said, "Oh, if I can go away." And they were singing "Running Away." That's the first. Oh, I tell you, that was my favorite song of the whole movie. Was "Running Away" because I want the same thing happen to me. And it was in a deserted island. And me personally, I wouldn't care about being in a deserted island. I would be crying to go up and be homesick. I'm independent in mind like I am, and I like to have my own, do my things the way I want to. So I'm serious. The movie Pippi Longstocking, that was my favorite. I mean, I had other favorite movies that was in Disney, but what I can think of right now is Pippi Longstocking. And I haven't seen that movie since I was a child, okay? You get to be teenage, you want to grow up, okay? And I was one of the teenagers that wanted to go become grown. So I was trying to look at kid stuff, okay? I started watching cartoons when I was 13 or 12 years old because I wanted to be, you're getting close to teenage years and you want to be prepared. Your teenage years supposed to be, although a family interrupted that, the time you're supposed to be adult. And I didn't want to be nobody's child, nobody's pet, nobody's puppet. That's why I said when I was 18, 20 years ago, I thank God for it. I do not want to hate that culture, that belief system that people try to thump on my life. And it's so stupid that they don't want to hurt themselves talk to a person who actually hated it. And I did use the word hate. So when I watched this movie, it was like rebellion in a fun manner. I was like, golly, why can't I be like Pippi Longstocking? Why can't I know Pippi Longstocking? I be the dude in the video, know who Pippi Longstocking. She can do the, spin. Yeah, I really want to get away. Now, when they somehow get discovered, it's been years. When they found them in the deserted island, they took them back home. Okay, because the parents of the kids were worried about their two kids, and they were worried about Pippi Longstocking. They put them in boarding school. And we brought this up because remember I was telling you that I was a good student. I was like the redhead, not the Pippi Longstocking had her spirit, but remember the redhead girl with the English accent that was always tattletailing and felt like that was like me. Okay, when I was a kid, and cause I didn't want to get pat, I tried to be the obedient, thinking that these people was caring about me. And one thing when she had actually did something, the narcissistic, rigid teacher, which I was like, oh, I ain't not know that someone can resist like that. Pippi said, "Ow!" When they whipped her, when they hit her, spanked her, and that hurts. So, and I never forget when my aunt, my grandma, my dad's sister hit me. I said that hurt. I got that from that movie Pippi Longstocking, and but Pippi Longstocking was resistance, and she didn't care. You know what I'm saying? And I never think she would be mocking that redhead British girl. And I was like, well, damn, that was boring how she lived her life because, I kind of like, well, I was trying to be a leader because I was trying to be a teacher's pet. I mean, I didn't want to be mistreated and talked in a kind of way, and I tried to follow the rules like I still do today. And I wanted to avoid any correction, so I wanted to, that was me. But it was boring to see her because she had this arrogance. And that would turn me off like I shouldn't be that way. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't be arrogant like that. She felt that she was better than everybody. But she got away with everything. The redhead chick that was Pippi Longstocking's enemy, you know what I'm saying? And when it was in the boarding school. So, she was, so she was, so that's what I remember in the movie Pippi Longstocking. And I remember when her father came to see her. And not to mention anything, to mention company name I'm working for, okay? Not to keep us another company. The Caucasian guy that's head of there, he looks like a younger version of Pippi Long, which relates to the film about Pippi Longstocking, and he looks like Pippi Longstocking's dad, but a younger version because he's in his 40s. So I was like, and I remember telling her, you look like somebody on TV because, and I was like, wait, I'm saying, he looked like Pippi Longstocking's dad. So, but a younger version of, the man was old. And I remember when she was so sad to see her dad, and I remember she was always, what hurt her in the movie that her mom was not in her life, and her mom was this loving mother, was this demeaning mother, okay? And I was like, damn, I would miss a parent like that too if they was nice and kind and not demeaning and rude. And she was talking to her, and it reminded me in later on because I never thought about changing. I was at the time thinking about changing religions. at around about 9, 10 years old, and I did in 13. But it reminded me of how us Catholics ask the Blessed Mother for intercession, due to the fact that in Revelation chapter 5 and 8, and when they talk about the saints pray for people, when Jesus talked to Enoch, was it Enoch? No, Elijah and Enoch, when they appeared on the mountain of Tabar. That's why we do that, and also to where it goes to the biblical text where the queen was the mother, okay, in the Old Testament because he had concubines, so they'll always ask the queen for requests, and it goes back to where when she was when he ran out of wine and Jesus, her son, turned turn the water to wine, okay, and James chapter 5 talks about a righteous person's prayer is effective. So that's why when you talk about miracles of the saints praying, that's what that comes from. Okay, so I can relate to that because I never thought that, but I was like, yeah, she was talking to her mother because in the faith, that's our mother. In Revelation chapter 12, 17. That's the curse here and on the video, but I just ran into those who don't know because they don't know why we do this and that. Well, it's the biblical people who don't know. One thing about me, when I become converted, I didn't know the biblical parts of my faith until later on I started getting attacked. Okay, I'm very defensive. Okay, so that's where we get that idea. But I was like, yeah, when I was thinking about the movie, I said that's what she was talking to her mother, who had passed away. Okay, and next thing, her dad, who was on the ship, comes in. And her dad was his good dad. He was not mean. He was not abusive. He was not yelling. He was not cursing. He was not ugly to her. And she was in her, like, it made me cry. But I think she ended up staying with them. You know what I'm saying? Staying with the family that was living next door to her. But I would not go with the dad because, I'm sorry, because she was dealing with them people trying to, whoop her, yell at her. And she had two parents one was in heaven, who was a good caring mother I wish I had, okay? And she had a good caring father who was not mean, who loved her, and I'm sorry if that was me. I'm like, get this time, I'm going with you, okay? And when I was looking at the movie Pippi Longstocking, and I was telling people that when that part of it when it was running away, and I remember packing my things ready to get at 10 years old, singing that song in my head, wanting to get out of my grandparents' house, okay? Because of that song. You want to permanently escape. And I say permanently, I say temporarily. So, don't you understand? That's why I love the movie, because it was like rebellion in a fun way. But then, you understand, Pippi Longstocking, the reason why she had a right, in my opinion, had a right way to resist and go against these people's narcissistic, rigid behavior. Not saying necessarily the rules, but you can separate rules and behavior. You can talk about someone's rule, but in a loving manner, not be ugly with the rules. You know what I'm saying? For ugly, we know what people do. They use the skirting, that type of behavior. You know what they put in. They ain't doing it for no good things. Just to be ugly, okay? And when I saw why she was acting that way, because she wasn't going against the rules based on the rule. She was looking at the people's behavior, they evil, ugly behavior, how they treat her. And it's true. If you treat me that way, that's how you're going to receive it, okay? And no one shouldn't be treated that way if you're going to talk about the godly thing, a good thing to do with the rules. And so as a 9 and 10 years old watching this movie on Disney Channel, I was like, whoa. And I was hoping it was, uh, I was hoping that they would do a number 2 of Pippi Longstocking, but this was a universal movie to me. It had white characters, okay, and then one had one Asian person that was in the movie, that was a teacher or something, but other than that, it was a movie for us kids back in the day in the 80s. You grew up in the 80s, 179, to watch this movie, and you was dealing with mess at home or people in the neighborhood. It was like imaginary train, and I wished it was reality. Reality was the fantasy was reality, and I'm sorry, I know they have food where to eat everything, but baby, I'm sorry, you make your own food. You know what I'm saying? You'll find a will way if you stranded out somewhere. Of course, you need to go back to the person. Even though the parents of the two the little girl, the little boy was not as mean. It's just the people in the neighborhood. Because remember, it wasn't. I think this was back in the 40s. I mean, it was made in the 80s, but I think Pippi Longstocking, the time period was like 1940s, 50s, or probably 50s, something like that. And, cause I thought it was in the 80s, but I looked at the pictures, how they was dressed. I said, they don't look like in modern day time. And if you know, that's what they had with jumped on bring America great again in a culture sense, and they were very stern, rigid, rude. You know what I'm saying? And it's like even the teacher who was with people on Stockton when she was there, not the Asian one, but the white woman that was there. She was like she wanted someone to f up. Okay, she wanted someone to mess so she can get at them, and that's why she was necking on Pippi, because she knew Pippi was not gonna tolerate that. And I can rhyme back and I was imagine Pippi in 1990s, but I was coming up Pippi in 19 beat the heifer and called out her B word and everything. That's the story. But he got ratchet, okay? Because she was already ratchet in some way. But Pippi, I love the movie Pippi Longstocking, and that was one of my favorite movies I could think of. They had other favorite movies in child, remember, of course, Sesame Street and the Muppets, but that was what I can relate to because the things I was going through. Even when Wild Hearts Can Be Broken, and I remember when her aunt, it was a true story, and I was watching this movie when I was in psychiatric hospital. Okay, when I was in psychiatric hospital at 13 years old. We were watching this movie, and I never forget, even when the aunt had whipped spank. It was, remember these white people that was in this movie. It was Latino chick, and the other most white was there. It was the old bitch. I never forget that that's the 1990s. Okay, like at that time, we were always saying the old bitch. How she had hit the woman, because remember the woman was a little girl, but she became wrong because she was being these affairs, and then she got blind. Wild House Can Be Broken. And I remember watching that on Disney Channel because I was like, what style movie is this? I don't want, even though Pippi Longstocking about, but I know sometimes you watch the movies, the trailer doesn't tell you everything, but there are things in the movie that you can relate to when you watch it, okay? You're like, dang, that was in the movie? You know what I'm saying? So, weird how Hollywood does that. But anyway, the point is, but that was the time when we was coming up as kids, we started to recognize it wasn't just the media. I knew in my own conscience when people talked to me crazy, and yeah, it was not from a good place. It was just someone lying and even taking parcels of guards working in stores just so they can fool you, okay, so they can have their gratification to do it again. Because the one thing that I know is people would protest against this. They not because they didn't care, they would stop doing it and leave that person alone if they had sense. But they don't have sense. They want a continuation to get them power. They want a continuation to make them feel good. It's narcissistic behavior. And they're looking for you with a rigid, nitpicking mentality. They want to find something errors on you so they can have the pleasure to do it again. And it's funny when you leave that person, they blame you. But don't blame yourself because we don't come before asking. I don't want to be part of it either. So, you know what I'm saying? You're at fault. You already know I'm against what you believe is stand for. So why would you continue knowing that you're hurting yourself? When there's other people who believe your mess, they can, birds they flop together, right? So when I see this movie, Pippi Longstocking, you're 10, I'm like, dang. And I started watching Disney Channel. I started watching Disney Channel because of the Mickey Mouse Club and some other things, and there was movies in there that I didn't get a chance to see as a kid. Did I see Who's That Girl with Madonna? No, I saw that on HBO. Okay, but there was other movies. La Bamba. Now did La Bamba come on Disney Channel? I saw La Bamba because I never get back in '87 when my aunt was dating my dad, my cousin's dad at the time. They were supposed to be getting married at the time. And we were working at Sam Goody. I begged them, can we go see La Bamba and Who's That Girl back in '87? And I wanted Whitney Houston album. I want to name for somebody, okay, Whitney. Okay, I don't forget them days. At '87, okay, which is 30 years ago. But when I saw Pippi Longstocking, back in 1989, I mean, it was a good movie. I love that movie. It makes you as a kid want to get away from trauma, okay, at home, and a tyrannical behavior, at home, and the area you was living in. And I was like, oh, if Pippi Longstocking was real, can she come see me? You know what I'm saying? That was the time. I love Pippi Longstocking. I love that movie. And I don't care if some Illuminati did whatever. Fuck that. Sorry to cuss him, but still, good message. But her parents were not like that. And, you know, it makes you think that not all parents were good. Because her dad was, I mean, it made me cry when her dad came. And he was this loving, caring father. And he wasn't ugly to her. He was nice to her, and he picked her up, and it's like you want that father to come pick you up, you know what I'm saying, when you're a kid. And so I just, you know, I mean, and I'm sorry, I know that was her friends and she wanted to be in that town, but me personally, once that good, caring, nice father that you respect because he respects you come in, I mean, why would you want to go back to that area? You know, I understand your friends were there, but you know they're not contributing to your freedom. I'm sorry, because I will try. And one thing her dad was, what I loved about her dad being a settler, he traveled the world. You know what I'm saying? He went around the world, traveling the world. And I'm sorry, I wouldn't be stranded in the United States, wherever they be dumped at the time. But she took care. One thing about her, she taught the child to take care of themselves. Okay, of course, a child could, but she was so self sufficient that she ain't need nobody to guide her, you know, and that's me, you know, as an adult, you know, and I was like that when I was trying to become an adult, you know, I was becoming an adult at the time. And so, just looking at this movie, I mean, I'm gonna look at it, you know, when I have time, you know, but I love this movie. Oh, I miss watching this movie. It was a best movie that because I can relate to this story, you know. You know, but her parents were not. They were not assholes. They were narcissistic, rigid, trashy. They were nice. They were, you know, you could tell what she would talk to her mother in the sky because you know her mother was in heaven, and she felt that spirit that her mother was, you know, you know, loved her and missed her and was this kind, merciful mother. You know that I wish I had. You know, and I wish my dad was like that too. You know, so that's what I know. Because remember, the parent, she didn't come from parents. See, one thing that Pippi didn't like, and I have to tell people, was people being disrespectful for her. And she knew that the baby was time to use their authority, but her own loving parents was not like that. Because she wasn't a bad girl. You know, don't get me wrong. Pippi wasn't, no. She wasn't. She was a problem when you made a problem with her. Okay? Key word. When you made a problem with her, she was going to be a problem. Okay? And these people, like I said, back in the 50s and 60s and stuff, you know, remember grandparents were raised no damn time, okay? And they were, you know, children should not be heard but be seen type people, and they can walk and all. That's why, okay? And the adults, even they were corrupt adults, had to say so, you know. But she was assertive. She spoke to her mind, and that's what I loved about Pippi Longstocking. I did. So I didn't never watch, you know, never read books about Pippi Longstocking. I heard, but the movie is what drove me, okay, and how she lived her life. Um, I love, yeah. I wish they make a remake of that movie. I don't care what color the girl played, okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it's a sister or a white girl, or make whatever. I don't care. Just as long as the movie still have its elements of that you know, we many of us who love that they can read with my message can relate to, because I mean many of us want to be like people on stock and be independent, you know, and not have these old repressive rules, okay, because they were repressive, okay. So that's the reason why, you know, I'm sound like Hugh Hefner because, you know, I'm gonna do a movie, do a video about Hugh Hefner, okay, passed away, and everybody he became because all that narcissistic, repressive, old school stuff. If people stop being so narcissistic and rigid with that mess, maybe he would not be a playboy making all this pornography. Okay, you know, y'all thought that you could do something good, but you turn it when you distort things. You know, you know, distort the scripture. Become in the own destruction, as Saint Peter said in his letter, third letter, the second book. Okay, second, you know what I'm saying. So I don't understand how people, you want to be destructing your behavior, teaching somebody. Guess what happens? Okay, so that's all I have to say. But anyone who missed the Pippi Longstocking movie back in the 80s, who loved the group in the 80s, or we watched them in the 90s, or whatever today, in the 2000s, let me know. Put the conversation below. I'm sorry to close the hidden chat. I mean, hidden chat, but I just wanted to speak my mind without being interrupted. All right, bye. Have a nice day.